Good evening everyone and welcome back to the Justice for Aaron Brady campaign. In this evening's video we're going to revisit again an article created by Nicola Talent. It was on the Sunday World on Sunday last, the 24th of June. And you can see that's the double page spread there. And here we have the front page of the Sunday World on Sunday last. Now we did do a quick video on that on Sunday, and I did mention that there's a number of inaccuracies and other points that we would revisit, so we'll do so with some of those in this evening's video. And we're going to marry that with a question from one of Nicola Talent's followers, and that ties in nicely. It brings the investigation back to the collusion, corruption and the dealings with criminals in New York by garda síochána. So first thing I want to do is we're just going to have a quick look at a couple of paragraphs from the article on Sunday last. And we have this one here. Aaron Brady faces a further trial next year for allegedly plotting to pervert the course of justice, and will go to the appeals court in October in an effort to have his own conviction overturned. He has been charged, along with Dean Byrne, of conspiring to persuade a prosecution witness, Daniel Cahill, not to give evidence. So this trial that's been kicked down the road until October 2024. This trial is never going to actually take place because it's a complete and utter farce. Indeed, there is evidence, we believe, to suggest that Aaron Brady had absolutely no intention of and did not want anyone to persuade Daniel Cahill not to give evidence. The next paragraph we have here from Miss Talent. Brady is also accused of recording the playing of a video of a witness being interviewed by Gardaí. During his trial, it was heard that the video of Cahill telling Gardaí that he heard Brady admitting to murdering a Garda had been circulating on social media. So this is another example once again of the sloppy, pathetic journalism by an Irish investigative journalist, because the actual clip that was released on social media was of a gentleman called Ronan and not Daniel Cahill. So Nicola Talent, you are completely incorrect, you are wrong. It is a terrible error on your behalf. It is pathetic journalism at best. And to follow on from that, what I want to look at, we will return to it, but there is a very pertinent question from one of Nicola Talent's Twitter followers, Owen Forde. Here we have it here. Question, Nicola, if you don't mind. How did the video of a Garda interview enter the public domain? Was it released to Brady's defence? Can't see why there's not a bigger fuss being made of it. Surely not legal. Very excellent question, Mr. Forde. I'm not sure if Miss Talent has answered you or not. I probably, as you know, we told you on Sunday, Nicola Talent has blocked us from her Twitter page. So she's not interested in seeing any of these videos. She is judge, jury and executioner in respect of Aaron's case. So as an investigative journalist, she's not interested in anything that the campaign for a convicted prisoner has to say. Whether she wants to scrutinise it and question it, or whether she wants, God forbid, I don't think she would be allowed to agree with it. Obviously not, because she hasn't even mentioned the campaign during the course of Sunday's article. So let's have a look at the mess Nicola made of this. First, it's not Daniel Cahill, the video clip that was released. It's a gentleman called Ronan. And we have had a number of interactions with Ronan. And Ronan actually contacted us himself. And this is very, very important. It's very vital that everyone knows this, because there's been all sorts of accusations being bandied about by the DPP, Brendan Graham and garda síochána that we some way intimidated these people. Nothing could be further from the truth. So Ronan contacted us, and there's a little screenshot of he actually contacted my daughter Lorraine, and he says, tell your dad to call me. So that was the initial interaction we had with this gentleman. And it's very detailed, and I suppose when we go to look at what Brendan Graham told us and Mr. Stain told us during the course of their prosecution case, that these people, good, ordinary people who came forward to give statements against Aaron Brady. So this is Ronan's account of his first and initial interaction with Garda Síochána in New York. Here we have a text from him here. They arrested me at my job in front of a whole bar full of people. I lost my job. They held me in handcuffed with 7 cars of police, told me I was going home. I will never see my wife and child again. On some bullshit about Tommy, a case that was fake paper, kept me in handcuffed to the side of the cell, busted into my house with no warrant to search it, made an example of me over here, took my interview for my 10-year green card after that, because I told them when I got the lawyer, I want my statement taken off this. It was a forced fake statement. The guard basically wrote it himself. And so for that, they took my file from immigration because I wouldn't help them with the AB case. I was trying to expose them. So here we have a situation, another illegal immigrant whose papers wasn't filed for citizenship in the United States for a green card, and yet he was allowed to stay in New York. So that's the first part of it. Now I have to explain to you, the public, as I have done before. Ronan had an extradition warrant, and that extradition warrant was on foot of an assault of a gentleman in a bar in the Cooley Peninsula, and that extradition warrant was made disappear. And again, this goes back to our friend Agent Katsky, who was the Homeland Security agent and seems to be the dominant contact between Pat Marry, the Irish authorities, and Homeland Security in New York. And Agent Katsky, as we know and we've mentioned about the tape capturing Mr. Katsky here, offering another suspect immunity and green cards for other people if they give us Brady. So here we have Matt Katsky again involved with Ronan, and Ronan's extradition warrant completely disappears. Now, I do have an apology to make because I did accuse Ronan of attacking the gentleman in the pub in Cooley Peninsula with a pool ball. It actually was Ronan's father, PJ, who attacked the gentleman with the pool ball. Ronan hit him with a Coca-Cola bottle and then proceeded to kick him on the ground. So that was the court proceedings here in Ireland in relation to that assault on the Cooley Peninsula. Now we also have drugs charges here in Ireland for Ronan, and if we read the Argus here, this goes back to the 20th of April 2011. A North Louth man who was found with 10 bags of cannabis worth €250 brought shame on his family with his actions, Dundalk District Court was told this week. Ronan, 21, of an address at Grove Road, Carlingford, admitted having the drugs for sale or supply in the village on the July the 26th. Solicitor Kevin Hickey said his client was vulnerable to being easily led. Mr. Hickey said Ronan had brought shame on his family and his parents are distraught. Mr. Hickey said that the young people who get involved in things like this didn't really reflect on how their actions reflected on those around them. He said Ronan didn't take drugs himself or didn't even drink. Very good. Judge William Hamill said it was clear that Ronan needed to talk to professionals at the probation service. So here we have a man who's pleaded guilty to being a drug dealer and he's still allowed to stay in America. And again, this goes to what Graham and Stain said, that these people came forward and they're decent, honest people who had, to all intents and purposes, we were led to believe they had no skin in the game. Nothing could be further from the truth. Ronan was coming back to Ireland to face a possible jail term for a serious assault. And there was some sort of attempt by the authorities to cover up the disappearance of the extradition warrant insofar as they tried to portray the fact that the Forde Apache Dundalk, another slip up by senior investigating officer Mr. Pat Murray, didn't know about Ronan's extradition. Again, this is a complete and utter lie, because one of the detectives, Detective Paul Gill, was there at the arrest of Ronan for the drugs in Carlingford. And Detective Gill was at Ronan's place of work in New York and was there when Ronan was handcuffed, put into the back of an SUV and told, "You'll never see your wife and child again if you don't make up a story about Brady." So that's where that goes. Now, also, I'm going to bring us back again. Very detailed interactions with Mr. Ronan. And you see here, this is another text message from Ronan to another friend of his here in Ireland. And he was offering his friend to come over to America, say something, meet Matt. Meet Matt, so that's obviously Matt Katsky, the Homeland Security agent. Meet Matt and he can sort this out for you because, let me know, my boy works for Homeland. He got Emma Jane a 10-year visa and she was banned. She's coming back out in March. I'm going home in a few months, flat out here at the moment. He's a good friend of mine and he has a lot of power. So Matt Katsky, Homeland Security agent Matt Katsky, it would appear, was handing out green cards like sweets for those who are willing to tell lies against Aaron Brady. And again, we know that Detective Paul Gill was involved in these interactions. And also, I think it's fair to mention that Detective Gill was questioned during the course of the recent trial about harassing other witnesses to change statements. But that will be for a later date and we'll delve into that further at the appropriate time. So, if we go back to Mr. Forde's question, can't see why there wasn't a bigger fuss about being made of this. Surely not legal. It most certainly was not legal. And Aaron's defence team told the court, told Judge Michael White, that this was completely detrimental to Aaron's defence. And we would have been more than happy to have Ronan give evidence. Because as you can see, we have a number of other phone conversations with Ronan and more messages. We have messages of him as recently as this year being harassed by members of garda Síochána who are drunk in New York in March this year, 2023, harassing him, standing on his feet and knocking the phone out of his hand in New York. So this is an ongoing, continuing saga with Ronan. But once again, I will repeat, it was detrimental to Aaron's case to have that video released. And during our interactions with Ronan, and it is our belief firmly that a member of garda Síochána released that video onto social media. It's as simple as that, and that is Ronan's belief, because he was refusing to cooperate with them. And there are indeed other issues with Ronan and drugs in New York. And again, that falls back on Agent Katsky, who is smoothing things over for Ronan because they found themselves between the devil and the deep blue sea. Because they cannot afford Ronan to tell the truth. But as the case and as different trials continue, that will have to be teased out and brought to light under the scrutiny of a courtroom. And if at all possible, the man that was assaulted on Cooley Peninsula, I appeal to you again. I know there was some appeals made to you to come forward and just simply tell the truth, tell what happened. It's in the Argus. And it would be good if people would stand up for what is right and just what is questioned. We were told in court that these were upstanding citizens. They had no issues whatsoever. And here we have it from the horse's mouth. You'll never see your wife or your child again. So that is the calibre of the people we're dealing with. And I hope that answers your question, Mr. Forde. And I would hope that you would ask the likes of Nicola Talent, investigative journalist. All this information is in the public domain about Daniel Cahill and his association with the real IRA and the Ryan brothers, with Dean and Dara Evans. All that there is in the public domain. Ronan's drug bust when he was caught for supplying drugs, and also Ronan's assault, and also Ronan's drug issues in the United States of America in New York. So once again, thank you to Nicola Talent, and it's always good as and when the mainstream journalists try to portray and blacken Aaron's name and splash all over like this here. Headlines and double page spreads like this. They always make mistakes and errors, and that's a basic error by Nicola Talent, and she should apologise for it. There was no video released of Daniel Cahill. Now there is a video on social media. People might want to look at it. It's where Daniel Cahill admitted to being involved with certain people in Dublin and having his legs ripped with a knife and being stabbed before he left Dublin. Now, but that video may have been taken down, but if you're looking for it, we do have the raw copy. We're more than welcome to send it to anyone who requires it. But I'm sure all the mainstream media are fully aware of it, because Patrick O'Connell, another investigative journalist, tried to do a nice piece on poor Daniel Cahill and how he tried to get away from his trouble in Dublin when he went to America. And of course, Mr. O'Connell forgot to mention about the machete attack and the drugs Daniel Cahill was caught with. Just slipped his mind, and the investigative journalism, the budget didn't stretch far enough to find out other details such as that. So questions like this from Mr. Forde is always very good. Thank you once again to Nicola Talent for the article and the pictures in the Sunday World, and we'll continue. There's one or two other pieces of information that's totally wrong in Nicola's article, and we may deal with them in the next video. Thank you once again for watching. Please like, comment and share. Our social media sites are all being attacked because they don't want the truth to get out there. We need your help. Please like, comment, share. Click the subscribe button on the YouTube channel, please. And thank you once again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you.